So this is gonna be part two to the video that I did earlier this week about the same cat, Michael Thompson, right here. This is a new interview he did with Vlad TV, and if y'all didn't know, once again, Michael Thompson was once the head of the Aryan Brotherhood in Folsom and California prisons, and he ultimately turned on the Aryan Brotherhood uh, around his like 30th year, 35th, somewhere. We'll let him tell us doing time, and ultimately he, in this video that we gonna watch, he gonna go over all that and how that felt and how easy that was for him. But y'all know how we do it. We're gonna watch this video together real quick. I'm gonna pause it and we can talk about it in the comments. Let's get it.
You know, here you are. You cooperated, was it in 1984?
Yes.
Okay. So you were 33 years old
Yes.
at the time. And for all these years, you pledged allegiance to this group. You were a shot caller. You were part of the commission. You were involved in a lot of crimes. You were involved in a lot of violence. You were involved in drug dealing and prostitution and so forth. How hard of a decision was it to say, I'm going to throw all this away, all the stuff that I claim to be part of, and now work against the organization?
I'd like to tell you that it wasn't hard, but really what I was confronted with were two truths: the truth that I was living and the truth by which I was raised. I had to make a decision when I joined the brand that I was going to do things that were contrary to my own personal code, and I did that.
Let's pause it right there before he get any deeper, because that's a deep ass question right there. And you heard what he said. He said he would like to tell you that it was super easy because, when the time push came to shove, yeah, motherfucker did what he needed to do and told and did all that shit, and life goes on. But what he's about to say is, and we ain't gonna get too deep into it just yet, we'll let him speak on it, is that, he got a code of himself. I feel like we all got one. I think when you come out the womb, I feel like just innately as a human, you got a moral GPS, you like to think, right, that's inside of you that knows right from wrong. And we bend those codes on a regular basis. And ultimately, I feel like when we bend those codes, that's what kind of keeps us further away from God too, is because we go against the nature that we know we have in us in this fallen world of ours right here. And it's crazy because, when you get into the world of criminals and gangs and shit like that, like, you can't serve two masters, right? If you ever wanted to serve God, you can't be a criminal and serve criminality at the same time as you serving God. You can't have two masters, right? Now, if you would have been part of this organization, think about it, your blood, your oath, everything you done put into it, a motherfucker would have just crumbled it all just this easy when it came time for him to fold. At the end of the day, that's why I always preach this message when I get in these videos right here, is there's no winners in the streets. I don't care how high up the ladder you go, there's never no true winners in that shit. That's why it's better just to motherfucking do it within the rule book, because when you beat them at their own game, you really win. But that's for a whole nother story, but let's keep it rolling.
I did that willingly and openly. But when it comes to taking what I regard as innocent life, and that's what had occurred, and that's what was happening, that I would not be a part of that and would not condone that. So faced with that, it was not a difficult decision. I simply was not going to be a part of that. Now, insofar as still going head up with somebody, that remains true to this day. I don't have a problem with that. Those individuals, I hear it all the time. Aren't you afraid for your life? Aren't you this? Aren't you that? No, I'm living my life. I'm not in the witness protection program. I haven't changed my name. My address is common knowledge. Now that's not a challenge, but it's to emphasize to you that, I don't allow others to dictate how I live my life. And that applies now, and it applied back then.
Basically, what he's saying he ain't scared of no challenge, but ultimately there's really no threat to him like that. He don't really give a fuck. So what? Bent the rules. So what? Who the fuck? Who gonna do something about it? Nobody. And ain't nobody gonna do about it. Might get one or two crazy motherfuckers, but ultimately the rules of the game that you abided by and felt like this was the man, ain't nobody give a fuck about that shit. There is no rules and regulations. It's for every man himself. And motherfuckers like this, it should be showing proof that after 30, 40 years, of loyalty to a brand, right? Motherfucking what do you end up doing? And you know, he's no better than nobody else, right? Even Jesus' own disciples turned against him, right? But the coldest kicker right here is it's supposed to be a made man. This is a shot caller. This is the highest of the ranks right here, and this how the man go out. And I mean, you know, it is what it is. Like you said, he living his life. You know, he did what was right in his life. You know, is reality. What is reality, right? Whose reality is reality? That's his reality. And you don't care about it. He living his life. What the fuck, dude? Being called a rat or anything like that? What's that got to do? That ain't stopping him no kind of way. But motherfuckers done laid it down, blood, sweat, and tears, took oaths, the whole nine. And this is what type of time it is. But let's get back to it.
Well, at this point, you're being labeled a rat or a snitch or
Sure.
whatever the terminology of that time is. And, you know, based on prison politics, you know, there's probably a price on your head.
Well, there is. I still have an open contract on me. You know, but the idea, you want to remember that the idea of a rat is something that's used primarily by the organizations as a deterrent, you know, to those individuals that they're attempting to recruit. You see, so that's kind of like brainwashing, if you will. You hear it a lot. And again, you particularly hear it from the jawjackers and the front men for the various organizations. They're the ones that will use that term. I don't have a problem with it. See, because here's the bottom line, Vlad. If you like chicken, grab a wing. It's that simple. You know, you can jack your jaw all you want.
If I'm chicken, grab a wing. That's
Basically just saying ain't no threats out there. If you want to go for it, let's go for it. He with the shit. And ultimately, ain't no who gonna press him. Who gonna do something about him? He been living for a while. Like you said, it's a label. He don't care nothing about it. What the fuck is a rat? You know, so what? So what? Life goes on. But yet, once again, motherfuckers abided by a code, took an oath, did some more shit. What the fuck does it matter though? Really though.
a hell of a statement right there.
Yeah.
Okay. And ultimately, Curtis Price, for the double murder, ended up getting the death penalty.
Mm-hmm.
He ended up dying on death row in 2021 at the age of 74. So he wasn't actually executed, but he stayed on death row pretty much all those years.
He did.
And was that, you know, his conviction was partially based on you taking the stand?
I was the principal witness in that case.
Mm-hmm.
And so I take the position that his conviction was based on me taking the stand.
So based on him getting on the stand, another man is doing life behind him telling the truth about the actions and probably getting cut a deal and going another way. So he traded off basically that man's life to a degree, and I don't know all the factuals for a bit of his. Now, I always wonder, you know what I mean, how will that transpire in the next world? Because ultimately, you was doing wrong anyway. All the shit y'all was doing was wrong, period, point blank. But ultimately, in the criminal code, you went ahead and put this man on a platter, basically, in exchange for some more time in the free world. And ultimately, what comes from that? What's going to fall back on your head for that, if anything, right? Because you know the world that have before, I think you abide by a code, ethics, and things of that nature, but ain't man, there's no such thing. That's few and far in between. That's a time way back when the giants roamed the earth. Because in today's world, anything and everything goes. You know, that's why stuff like this should be an eye opener. You know, because if you're part of any kind of enterprise or anything like that, man, believe me, look at the ones around you, man. Look, is they really gonna be around you? Push come to shove, and who is these people really around you? Because you never really know who somebody is until y'all put in that situation. And then sometimes we put in that situation, it'd be too late because you didn't catch it when you could have caught it. Because the warning signs is always there. But you know, I hope y'all like the video. Y'all tell me what y'all think in the comments below, and I'm out.